Hi, I'm going to read to you from my book, Sun Gazing, Aura Seeing, and Nod Hearing, Exercises for Increased Psychic Sensitivity. We're going to talk today about how to see auras. What is an aura? Let's talk about it. It's pretty neat stuff. So I'm going to start my chapter 4 on aura seeing with a quote from Edgar Cayce's Aura booklet. Appendix 1, and here's what Edgar Cayce says to us about auras. An aura is an effect, it is not a cause. Every atom, every molecule, every group of atoms and molecules, however simple or complex, however large or small, tells the story of itself, its pattern, its purpose, through the vibrations which emanate from it. Colors are the perceptions of these vibrations by the human eye. As the souls of individuals travel through the realms of being, they shift and change their patterns as they use or abuse the opportunities presented to them. Thus, at any time in any world, a soul will give off, through vibrations, the story of itself and the condition in which it exists. If another consciousness can apprehend those vibrations and understand them, it will know the state of its fellow being, the plight he is in, or the progress he has made. So when I was in 3rd grade, I took real notice of the first human aura that I had perceived. And I wasn't very excited about it because I didn't really know what it was. I didn't have anything to compare it to. And it also bothered my eyes. The aura belonged to my 3rd grade teacher, Sister Georgiana, one of the 2 nuns presiding over the Catholic school I attended. Looking back, it's no surprise that Sister's aura was so pronounced. Despite our differences, I must admit that she was a holy woman. She prayed and meditated. She was humble and devout. However, I found her ideas about the existence of a soul, or non-existence of a soul, within all beings, very offensive. She taught that only humans, not animals, possess a soul, and I didn't like that. That annoyed me greatly, and I never managed to convince her otherwise. And had I known anything about reincarnation back then she and I could have had a genuine debate. And Sister's was a strange aura. Despite not having much to compare it with at the time, it still seemed peculiar to my eyes. It was normal in its brightness and golden yellow color, and that it surrounded her whole body, extending out about 2 or 3 feet. What was unusual was that the portion surrounding her head shot off like a wide beam of light upward and to her right. It was blank on the left side of her head area. Sister spent a lot of time in front of a black chalkboard. The solid colored background accentuated the brightness of the aura. I spent a lot of time staring off into space. I stared straight ahead toward her. I didn't want to get called out for staring out the window, but my mind would still go into a blank state of absolute boredom. Tedious is the word. School was painfully tedious, I thought. I used to watch the clock tick so slowly. And to this day, my favorite time of day is 3 p.m., the hour of freedom. The time that I was released back into a world of activity again, talking, laughing, moving, breathing, and thinking. And there was a limit on how many prayers I could memorize and recite to a classroom of fellow victims of monotony. Eventually, a sort of depression and mental detachment would set in on the average day. So this is really important. The boredom and its resultant dumb stare seemed key to my sudden perception of these lights around things and around people. As I stared forward, my mind would slowly unravel itself, loosen its grip on the lesson. The eyes would droop a little and begin to partially lose contact with the solid construct of objects before them. The usually defined outer perimeters of the physical body were no longer where the body ended. In that altered state of consciousness appeared an additional form, a form that moved along with the physical, but made of something subtle, something that looked like a figure of light. I am now aware that this subtle material is the periphery of the subtle body, like a skin in a way. Most of the subtle body's energy is infused into the physical body, in a way masking its presence. So the subtle energy of the subtle body is being used and is needed by the physical body. Okay, so that's why you can't see the subtle form, because it's being used, it's contained within the physical. Think of a lamp. We can't see the bulb because it is kept inside the lampshade. Its super brightness is contained. The majority of the bulb's power is within the shade. The light that radiates through the shade into the external environment is similar to an aura around a person or a thing. Not all of the subtle material contained in the subtle body can or needs to be contained within the physical. Some of that material radiates beyond physical boundaries. The most amazing part of seeing auras is that everything has an aura. And I don't mean every one, because of course every one has an aura, but literally everything. When I get my eyes into the aura seeing mode, which is often, within moments, the aura of all the other objects around, I can suddenly see visibly their aura. Everything has an aura. The door frame has an aura. Picture frames, plants, and of course animals. Everything has an aura because every single thing, animate or inanimate, has some amount of vibrant energy within it. Everything. So here's the exercise. So all of the exercises in this book, I encourage you to do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of breathing, a little bit of clearing the mind and centering the self before you do the exercise. And I offer some exercises and some breathing techniques for that purpose. Now, to begin this, have a patient friend stand in front of a blank wall or door, maybe your daughter, maybe your dad, maybe your mom, maybe a friend, anybody that you don't feel anxious around, somebody that will be patient and just stand there for you. Have them stand in front of a blank wall or door. If no one is available, you can use another object, such as a plant, a piece of fruit, or a statue. A blank white wall or black wall is recommended if available. If not, any solid color will do. Now, be sure that the light in the room is natural sunlight and that any shadows cast against the wall are taken into account and not mistaken for an aura. You, as the seer, should stand or sit about 10 feet or more away. Get relaxed physically and mentally. Settle down. Empty your mind. Fix your eyes straight ahead, staring blankly just over the person's right shoulder. Forget that the person is there and just gaze. Don't worry about how long this might take. Anxiety makes it harder to see the aura because the mental interest is being used for something else. So just relax. Stare blankly over their shoulder. Blink as needed. There is no pressure to see the aura, so just empty your mind. Whether you already see the aura or not, abandon other mental interests and concerns. Notice the vibration of energy active in your eyes right now. Notice the life force energy in your own eyes. Feel it. Sense it out. As the eyes relax into a soft gaze, they may begin to move inward or cross. Your vision may blur or double, and this is normal as the eyes shift from normal to abstract focus. Be reminded that you, like everyone else, are a mystic being. At this moment, you are trying to see through psychic eyes. The aura may look like a glow of yellow or white light around the person's body. Depending on the person, it will radiate outward between an inch or two from the body to several feet out from the body. The aura may not appear even all the way around the periphery. Some parts may seem thicker. You may see bulges or indentions in the aura. The aura may appear in colors other than golden yellow or white. Each seer sees auras uniquely. If the aura became apparent to you right now, if you can see the aura, if you're practicing this as I talk, allow your gaze to settle upon it. Work with your vision. The aura may appear, disappear, then reappear. This is normal. Keep adjusting the mind and experimenting with your vision. Starting from the right shoulder now, take the eyes up, around the head, down to the other shoulder, and all the way down under the feet, up and around to the space above the right shoulder again. As you move the eyes, you may lose focus of the aura. If so, start again with relaxing and looking over the right shoulder. Periodically take a break. Close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths, and rest a moment. Open your eyes then, gaze over the right shoulder again with a trance-like stare. With eyes relaxed, keep gazing. Using your peripheral vision now, notice other objects in the room. Do they have a glow of light around them? What shape does it take? Can I discern between what is the aura of the object and other casts of light and shadow on the wall? How far away from the physical object does the light shine? If you still don't see an aura of any kind, don't be discouraged. Instead, just keep practicing. As you gain experience, day by day, week by week, year by year, a mental and a visual adjustment will be made. The eyes learn to switch over into another mode of seeing, from the everyday vision of survival vision, to a mystic perception. Just because someone has never put their car into fifth gear does not mean that fifth gear does not exist and won't function when it's applied. Similarly, we may shift into an often unused mode of vision. We gaze off in a trance-like state so that the mind will shift to a heightened state of clarity and acceptance, a state where it doesn't have to be locked into normal sensory interpretations. So once you've practiced for some time, you may notice that you can see auras even when you're not practicing. Auras may become more and more apparent. Take a look, but be discreet. Do not mention it to others. We don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. You can mention it to other people that practice aura seeing, but to people that don't, it's better just to not say anything. Mystic practices are kept close to one's heart and soul and never used to impress others. Let me just tell you a quick story as I close about aura seeing. So when I told someone that I could see auras once, these were mystic people I was talking to, I mentioned aura seeing, and a lady wanted me to look at her aura, and there was a bit of an energy of a challenge in her request. So I just went ahead and put her in front of a white wall in my home and had her stand there, and I did the practice that I just mapped out for you. And when I was looking at her aura, there was a bulge coming out of one side of it. It was a very specific, very defined bulge coming out of one side of her head. And so after viewing her aura, she was telling me that she had read about in Buddhism, a practice where auras, you can see divots in the aura. And so I mentioned to her, I said, well, I wonder what it means when you can see a bulge. And she said, why? I said, because you have a bulge coming out of the side of your head. And she looked kind of funny for a second, and then she said, well, I have a cyst that won't go away right here on the side of my head. And so that was what was causing the bulge in her aura, was that cyst. So sometimes actually looking at auras can reveal a lot about a person, and even, physical ailments that they may have, or physical strengths that they may have. So anyway, that's from sun gazing, aura seeing, and not hearing. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening.